Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys, and today I'm doing a 15,000 mile review on my 2018 Q50 3.0T. But before I get into the video, guys, please, if you like this video, watch some more of the videos. If you like those videos, subscribe and hit the bell notification. But otherwise than that, guys, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so let's talk about some of the aesthetics of the car. Now I had a 2014 to the 2018. In the 2018, this is when they changed to the nicer, newer front bumper, but I do like the old sport front bumper. What they did is aesthetically to the side is nothing else really changed on the set for the car, where they just chose to add a few other packages, such as from OEM factory you can actually have a carbon fiber package, pretty much appearance package that's carbon fiber caps there and a carbon fiber trunk lid. Now there's a few other things aesthetically that I do like that they changed with the 2018 model compared to the 2014 model. One, they changed out the rear taillights. Before, the taillights will be like more of like a circle. Now it's more of a line. It has a really nice accent at night. Two, they used to have a chrome pillar here and a chrome pillar here. They got rid of that one for the 2018s and up. So I believe it cleaned up the back of the bumper a lot more. And also for the 2014 to 2017s, they had bumper reflectors right here and right here. So they pretty much cleaned that up. And finally, they added they made a fake diffuser looking diffuser down here at the bottom. And if you ever notice on the sports, they're actually painted gray, right? Gray here. And then the regular body color shows here. But for the sports, they have it gray here and the body colors here. But for the premiums and luxes, it'll just be one color all the way across. Now, there's a few things that I still dislike about Infiniti, right? Now, I talked about in some of my old videos back in the day. When you go towards the door, right? At night, this will light up. There'll be light that comes down here. But guess what they choose not to do? There's no light here. There's no courtesy light here. There's only a courtesy light there. That's just one of the little things that I'm saying they go halfway about, which is quite annoying. If you have an Infiniti, you know what I'm talking about. Do you guys, if you're looking to purchase one, you're going to notice it. It's going to make you a little annoyed. Two, people talked about this also. So, for instance, the door is locked, right? You lock the door, pardon the background noise. Now, I could go here and unlock the door with the key. The key will just automatically do it. But if I went to the back, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that memory thing, or that pretty much that radar thing where you can put your hand there and it would open it. Now, some people like the idea of having two steps. Hear me out, guys, because you guys get really upset about it, right? The two steps are you put your hand here, right? And then you press on the button. Now, that would allow you to go to the back and see, I didn't even do it right. You see? You put your hand there and then you press on a button. And then that allows you to open the back. Why do I have to do it in two steps? I don't want to do it in two steps. I understand maybe they want to do this for child safety lock reasons, but no, I think it's still half ASS of Infiniti. They keep doing things half ASS. Now, let's go to the carbon fiber side mirrors. Now, you can get these opted up with they're auto dimming. You can get them with the carbon fiber caps, and it'll be memory and everything, which is pretty cool. But one thing they choose not to still add in their pretty much their sport up package is power folding mirrors. Something Infiniti just chooses not to really care about. But it would be nice if we actually had that addition, that you guys can have such a memory, auto dimming, heated carbon fiber pretty much side mirrors, but you can't have motor folding. So that's still one thing that pretty much annoys me. Otherwise than that though, my car doesn't come with the standard BBK. Even though I do have a sport, I have the 2018 where they decided that if you wanted a 3.0T sport, that you would have to buy the appearance package for the BBK paddle shifters and the sports seats. But for my 2018 model year, which is like the weird year, whatever, you can get the sport bumper with the sport seats, and that's it. No sport, no sport calipers, no paddle shifters, pretty much, which kind of sucks. All right, guys, so let's talk about the interior, the driver's seat, because this is where you guys are going to spend most of your time. And I want to talk about pretty much some of the ergonomics and stuff that pretty much are the annoyances and the things I like about just being in the driver's seat. Now let's start with the sports seat itself. I've had the regular premium seat, which is perfectly fine, but with my second Q50 I now have the sports seats, and I do like the sports seats a little bit more because I am a taller guy, and this extension piece on the seat allows me to relax my legs a lot more. And two, the thing that you get with the sports seats is you get the bolstering. These bolsters actually come a lot closer towards you and pretty much hugs you a lot better, especially for cornering and handling. So I do like that the sports seats has a bolstering and this extended piece. But if you just want a regular premium, which could still come heated, it's perfectly fine. This also comes heated. No, repeat, no cooled seats. That's not a thing in Infinitis Q50s. In the M37 Q70s, yes, but Infiniti chooses not to put cooled seats in their Infinitis. Now, moving on. Let's talk about this. No, not that. That's a mount. This infotainment system. I'm still not a fan of it. I'm still not a fan of it. All right. For my old videos, if you want to check it out, I still not a fan of it. You have no Apple CarPlay, and you have no repeat, and you also have no Android Auto. What you have is an old Intel based system, which is pretty much outdated and sucks. You literally don't even use this thing. I have navigation, right? But I find myself not even using the Navi at all because I've just used my phone's Google Maps. This Navi is old, not out of date. It's pretty much the same navigation out of the G37s. Now, even though in 2018 they still make the same ROM and everything, from reading in 2020, 2021, they're supposed to be switching over to an Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for the newer Q50 and Q60s. So let's see that hopefully that actually happens. Now, there's a few other things that makes me a little bit upset about this car, and it's the HVAC. Pardon the let it be in dirty, whatever the case might be. Now, let's say some of you guys live in a really hot area, right? And let's say you start the car, or you auto start the car, right? When you go to climate, the car would automatically start, and it will go to 75 degrees when you first start it up in the morning. And especially if it's a hot, you can't. What I'm trying to say, guys, is if you set your car for 60 degrees Fahrenheit with the AC on the night before, when you start it in the morning, it will not be at 60 degrees at all. And that's one of the things that's very upsetting about the HVAC. If you live in also extremely hot climate, I must say that this AC just doesn't get cold enough. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel as if this AC just doesn't get cold enough. So that's one of my recommendations too. I'm not saying this affects all Q50s, but in my 2015 and my 2018, the AC just doesn't seem like it gets cold enough. One of the ways of alleviating that is adding tint, but depending on what state you are, adding tint could be illegal, and you could get tickets and everything like that. Now, another thing that some people may not like about the car is the Bose system. Now, my old 2015 had the Bose sound system, and I really like that one a lot, really good. But in this one, I actually have the more bass system, and I definitely noticed the difference. So I would really say, if you do like decently sound car stereos or stock, go opt for the Bose. The Bose system sounds really good. I like it, and that's my recommendation from having both of them. I never use the CD player at all. I don't even know what that is. That thing is completely outdated. And all those little apps and features and stuff on there is useless. Everything is useless on there completely. So guys, don't even waste your time on dealing with this. Understand that this double din here and this double din here are only for your HVAC controls and connecting your phone to the music player, whatever the case might be. And also, let me put this in here too. If you are going to stream Bluetooth off your phone, your Android or your iPhone, understand that this system has a lag to it. So when the song plays on your phone, it will literally take another 2 to 3 seconds to stop. So if you press pause on the song playing on your phone, then the lag will continue on for at least 2 to 3 seconds, and then it'll stop. And if you press play, it'll take 2 to 3 seconds to play. It's literally always 2 to 3 seconds behind. So that's just what happens with dealing with this old outdated system, or their old Intel processing system. But this will be getting rid of soon enough, so don't even have to worry about that. So let's continue to a few other things. Alright guys, so I also want to talk about a few places that you're going to use a lot often. The cup holder, which isn't deep enough or wide enough. That's one. And two, the glove box, right? The glove box, I really wish was deeper. It's only about this deep, and there's not really a good place to store your phone. Now, other cars, sometimes this part will be a little separate, so you can actually pop this part and you can slide your phone into it. But I really don't like the way that they actually done this, because you can put the coins and little stuff here, and they have 2 USBs, which are not good for charging your iPhone and your Android. They're not fast charging. This is just a map for this SD card is just the map for the navigation. Then they have an auxiliary in, and then they have a video in, I believe. And they have one cigarette lighter or cigarette charger here. That's it. There should be a lot more included here, which they don't give. And I really hate it and I dislike it, because guess what? There's no good place to really put your phone. You'll find out that you're putting your phone here majority of the time. Now, this stuff right here, the map button, this map switch button, you won't really necessarily use this. I believe that some of this stuff is just there as a novelty. This is a light to change the top screen to night mode or day mode. This is just the back button. This is the map and voice activated, and this is the drive mode. You'll probably use the drive mode the most often, because when you start the car, guess what? Let's say your last setting was Sport Plus. When you start the car in the morning, it's back to standard. Really? So you have to turn the car on and put it back to sport mode every time you turn the car back on, which is an annoyance. Like, the car doesn't save certain settings. Now, this little cup holder is in one of the worst places, because if you're parked, it's hard to get access to it. 2, it's actually very deep, so even when you have this stick to the back, it's hard to still get your hand all the way in there. There's also another cigarette lighter, 2 here, so you only have 2 cigarette lighters, and you cannot charge when the car is off, pretty much. Some American cars and your cars, you can charge it even when the car is off, but Infinitis, and I know it's for German cars or Japanese cars, they don't allow you to do that. All right. Now, these little simple heated seat buttons, very easy, simple to do. The heated seats work pretty well. I have no problems with it. So let's continue. Now, for this area, nothing really going on. Then you have the glove box. You can not the biggest, tallest glove box, not the deepest, but you can put a few stuff in here, whatever the case might be, but not too much. You can lock it also with a key here, which is pretty cool, pretty fine. The key is on your key fob. If you like these mats, you could also check out Mat Metrics site. Really custom, good hand custom leather mats. All right, so let me continue with a few other stuff that I dislike. All right, guys, so let's talk about the trunk a little bit, right? Now, with the trunk, I must say it's not one of the best trunks to have. The opening is decently wide enough, but it's not deep enough. Now, my car doesn't have the optional spare. Usually, guys, you have to pay for the spare on these cars, so that's going to take away from how deep the trunk is. So if I had a spare in my car, I would actually have a less trunk height, and these boxes will be sitting a lot more taller. Now, depth-wise, it's pretty good, but remember, there's another option too. You see that back right there? I have rear folding seats. So if you don't get that from factory, or if they don't order, if the dealer doesn't order that with the rear folding seats, you guys are gonna have regular seats where it doesn't fold down, which means your trunk space will suck. And this will include the hybrids, where you won't have any rear folding seats because the battery is back there. When it comes to trunk space wise, I think it's not the best trunk space if you went grocery shopping, even though it's a grocery getter. I've definitely went to BJ's and Costco's and definitely put a few boxes in here with food, but I always find myself having to put everything else in the back seat, whatever the case might be. So when it comes to the trunk, I gotta give it out of all the cars I've had before and I've driven in, I have to give it like a 6. I'm not trying to even give it a rating system, it's just, I have to give it a 6. But let's continue on just some of the driving impressions. Alright guys, so I want to talk a little bit about maintenance with you guys, whatever the case might be. So let's start off with engine oil. Nissan Infiniti recommends that you change this oil every 10,000 miles. No, that is completely insane. Do not do that on any car, period, at all. I don't care. Change your oil between every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. It's not only because of my own experience, but from talking to mechanics, talking to tuners, talking to people who's in the industry. Yes, oils can go up to 10,000 miles, but on turbo cars, it's a lot different. They can eat a little bit more oil because they have blow-by in their engine bay. If you guys, I don't want to go deeply into this because some of the people are not into cars as much, but just understand that change it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles because the engines, or majority of engines on the market today, eat a certain amount of quarts of oil over a certain amount of mileage. So 10,000 is just too insane, especially on a 0-20 weight, period. 2, brakes. On the Q50 Q60s, they have that. Though there's something called active trace control. From factory, they always have it on. What that allows you to do is whenever you're making a turn, the rear brakes would actually press, like would press the corners to allow you to make the turn a little bit more better. But what happens is you'll eat up your rear tires, or not your rear brakes way quicker, and you don't want that. So definitely turn that part off. The brake pads themselves are relatively cheap to pretty much get repaired, because they use the same brake calipers as the G37 and the 370Z, and pretty much majority of any Nissan Infiniti vehicle that has the typical 2-piston brakes, or even the BBKs, whatever, the bigger brakes. So there's plenty of brake pads you could choose out there. Rotors the same way. It's not necessarily of an expensive car to repair when it comes to maintenance. Transmission oil, they say it's unserviceable, but that's not true. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna leave it as Infiniti says it's unserviceable. Leave the transmission alone. Cool. Now, you don't have power steering because you have electric, so you don't have to worry about that. The coolant change and everything, that stuff is like 100 to 110,000 miles. That's if you put extended mileage on your VR30, so you don't even have to worry about that either. Otherwise than that, when it comes to typical maintenance, the car is relatively easy to take care of. Now there's one gremlin I want to talk about. One gremlin. I'm gonna put the card up there. But VR30s have been known for their serpentine belt or their accessory belts to pop. Yes, that is a thing. Where you will drive the car for a certain, let's say 10, 15, 20,000 miles, and your accessory, your drive belt, will pop. And that could leave you stranded, and you'll have to get pretty much a new belt installed. What will happen is the belt would pop, then the alternator would the battery would kill itself because it's not being charged, and that's an issue over time. You don't want that. So my recommendation, because I've had the car, is change your drive belt every 10,000 miles. Repeat, change it, because the tensioner, from what I believe from working on it, is the spring is too hard, so it's stretching out the belt over time with the amount of revolutions it does, especially with the engine bay heat, and over time it's going to dry up the belt and it's gonna pop. Alright guys, so I just want to give you guys my honest opinion as being an Infiniti owner, for having Infinitis for over the last 10 years and also having 2 Q50s. So in my opinion, should you guys go and purchase a VR30? My recommendation, do your research, look up the VIN number, look on VinWiki, look on Carfax. Make sure that this car wasn't a lemon car at one period, because I don't want you guys to run into any issues. Salvage cars can be an issue, because sometimes if you have a manufacturer warranty where something bad might happen to the motor or turbos, then you're not going to necessarily be covered in the warranty. But if you are going to purchase this car pre-owned, understand there are going to be components that can go out in longevity of the time. That doesn't make the car reliable, but understand everything needs to be changed on a car at some period, at some time. But for the 15,000 miles I had with the car, it's been pretty much flawless, except for just the belt issue. Now, other people have complained about the stock run flat tires and how they're prone to blowouts and punctures. That's very true, and the quality of that run flat tire is actually very poor. So can you go with a non-run flat tire? Yes, you can do so. Just my recommendation is buy a 5th tire, and make sure you buy some kind of tire protection package, like a road hazard from the 2nd or 3rd party, or Infiniti sometimes actually offers that protection package too. So otherwise than that, guys, I believe that this first 15,000 miles, with the exception of the belt issue, everything was flawless. The car is potent. It does what I needed to do based on my life, based on my height, based on what I do on a daily basis. I do a little performance modifications to it, but majority are going to be regular everyday drivers, and it could do it. Some of you guys are going to ask, what about the gas mileage? It's a twin turbo V6. It's not going to be a Prius, so understand that you're not going to get that. Some of you guys may ask, has the car ever left you stranded? Have you ever shut off? Listen, if the battery dies, the battery dies. Just put a new battery in. There's going to be issues, there's going to be recalls, there's going to be certain things. Necessarily, there are certain things that have happened to other people's cars. Just do your research and make sure that it doesn't affect you. Otherwise than that, guys, this is boostinmotion. I just want to make this a short video on just my experience with both cars and some of the things I like and dislike. There wasn't really that much likes because I love the car. I actually love the car. But there are all those little things I dislike about the car that I wish that they could definitely change about it. So otherwise than that, guys, this is a short video. Me just talking about my life with my Q50. I enjoy it. I love it. Otherwise than that, if you like videos like that, definitely check out my channel and check out other videos, because I do modify my car. Otherwise than that, this is boostinmotion. You can contact me on boostinmotion on Instagram, boostinmotion on Facebook, and boostinmotion at gmail.com for any other questions. Otherwise, guys, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. You have a good day. Thank you.